the dev team for Chaos Zero Nightmare, they held a live stream. Now, the live stream was entirely in Korean with no subtitles, so if you're not fluent in Korean, well, we're kinda scratching our heads and like, I wonder what they're saying. And after having looked into it, getting the transcript, I think there's some things that we should know. Hello everybody, welcome to the channel, my name is Hako. In this video, I hope to summarize the entire Korean livestream, obviously into English, and kinda explain to you the purpose of their livestream, what was said, what was addressed, etc. Now, I don't speak one word of Korean, so what I've had to do is take the transcript of that YouTube video in Korean and verify it against different sources to actually figure out if the transcript is right, if the English translation I have of it is correct, and it seems to be. Now, some words or points might have been, lost in translation, so if I happen to say anything that is wrong, that is not actually what they said, I'll rectify that in a comment below the video. Their entire live stream was just the big shot of the company sitting at a table, just staring into the camera, the same camera angle for about an hour. I'll make it a little bit more interesting and slap on some gameplay footage while I talk. So after a brief intro with some music, we get director Kim Jung-seok. Hope I pronounced that right. He says, "Hello, I'm Kim Jung-seok, CEO of Super Creative and director of Chaos Zero Nightmare. This is my first ever live stream, so I'm extremely nervous and shaking. I even prepared a script so I don't miss anything important, but please understand if I am caught reading from it occasionally. We sincerely apologize for the disappointment caused by the recent service issue and game operations in Chaos Zero Nightmare. As the representative, I take full responsibility and will clearly admit and fix every mistake. Today I will 1. Offer a sincere apology. 2. Explain the truth behind the controversies. 3. Answer your burning questions honestly. And 4. Show our future commitment to improvement." He then proceeds to say, "We set up this space to address service instability since launch and respond to user feedback about the game. We'll also do a Q&A later, please stick around. And the first point that they bring up is server instability. Key bugs since launch. Payment processing failures. Duplicate logins causing reward errors. Fatal crashes from Korean language sessions. Today's Prism module observation glitch. We sincerely apologize for the inconveniences. Developers are working 24/7 to fix these. Fast resolutions promised. Now, as a compensation for these inconveniences, we will all be getting 10 pickup anchors every week throughout November, starting tomorrow. By pickup anchors, I guess that they mean pools, probably for the standard banner. We accept the consequences. Our errors led to massive compensation payouts and sales drops. We hope this shows our readiness for any future issues. Your patience remains everything." The next point is regarding story problems. Full admission. We apologize deeply to players confused and disappointed by the story in Chaos Zero Nightmare. Core issues. You enter as a captain, the protagonist, but feel like a mere observer to the story, not the actual central hero. Characters build bonds with each other, sidelining the captain entirely. Then the CEO admits this. "I knew this was flawed, but with pre-registration in July and launch approaching, I rushed to meet my promise and failed to fully polish it. I hoped for post-launch fixes, and for that I am sorry. As the saying goes, the fastest time is when you think it's too late. We are completely revamping the main story right now." The next point addresses writer resignations, and the director goes on to admit that it is his fault. "The scenario team has greater passion than ever. But yes, many of our writers from the studio retired last year. And the reason for that is my excessive intervention. I fully admit that I was impatient near the deadline. I rewrote the script 45 times and even drafted sections myself to push production. This stifled their creativity in a high-pressure environment. The final story was completed under tight constraints, resulting in disappointment. Their departures are 100% my responsibility. I apologize again to them and to you. The current team is writing new content, including the epilogues Finale and Trauma Code. I'm now collaborating respectfully without overstepping. Next point is story overhaul, planned for the first quarter of 2026. Renewed main story directions. Destroy the alienated protagonist structure. Captain as the sole hero of the world. Revise controversial missions for 0 issues. Fix narrative flaws while preserving story integrity. Emphasize the dark, desolate history and characters' psychological depth. Full renewal. Chapters 1 to 5, not just text changes, new voice acting, cutscenes and directing. And the timeline for this is the first half of 2026. Time is needed for true quality. So sorry I said the first quarter, but they're aiming for the first half of 2026. Next point is localization and translation issues. Feedback on global localization, excluding Korea. Phrases revised for in-game concerns, but not unified across regions. We are aware and have reviewed our text management. Fixes. Better regional translations. Responsible handling so no player feels excluded. Now after that it goes into a Q&A with the live chat. The first question is, why keep the captain's loop, abilities and settings? The answer is, loop elements were toned down for scenario completion. They held us back. In the remake, the captain's powers will shine with full directing and integration. The next question is coupling/shipping drama between side characters. We didn't fully anticipate this internally. Main story was rushed, sidelining the captain. Will restrict it in-game. Side characters' relationships limited to external content. Side stories, events like Sanhua. The third question asks, was there internal politics causing writer quits? The answer is no politics. I pushed intense rewrites until the end. The team suffered, and it is my fault alone. And I apologize to resigned members. The next question is feminist/ideology accusations in the story. The answer, we support no particular ideology. Controversies stem from my oversight in content. My goal is player happiness only, and will review everything carefully. Next question is, what's the company's true focus? And the answer to that is original slogan, make gamers worldwide happy. We've always aimed for that, missed it in development. The next question is regarding the different translations between all of the different languages, and the answer is basically they're working on that as a bug fix and hope to make it more consistent and tight in the future. Next question is regarding that building affinity/trust is kind of hard, and it gatekeeps a lot of the rewards early on in the game. And the answer is that on their first update, they aim to make easier reputation gains and more mail rollouts. The next question is, why didn't they delay the launch, and do they use AI for their art? There are certain rumors. The answer is, bugs took priority and embarrassing delay in prep. I'm not quite sure if this answer makes complete sense. And regarding the AI rumors, they've had over 100 human people working on the development and no AI was used. For the last question, someone in the chat asks if he thinks that the gacha is too harsh in the game. The CEO brings up that it's roughly 30% cheaper than the Genshin to get a character. They have no limited banners for long-term access, and that is also in discussion with more free goods/pulls with the publisher. Now then we have some closing words. In-game improvements are top priority. We are iterating heavily. I personally accept all criticism for service instability and story failures. But please do not target any individual devs. They trusted me for 4 long years to launch, and it hurts seeing them attacked. I won't run away. I take full responsibility to correct my mistakes and rebuild. Give us time to show sincerity. Support Super Creative and Chaos Zero Nightmare as we rise stronger. More lives like this coming for feedback. Thank you. Oh yeah, I had no idea what to expect for the live stream. I actually clicked it to sift through it to see if there was any info about the next upcoming limited character, whatever you want to call it. So I will admit that I was a bit shocked with the tone and just everything addressed in this. Now, full transparency, I loved the first the first parts of the story, and I tried paying attention. After that, the gameplay was kind of too addictive, and the story, they kind of had, the visual novel style of storytelling, so I ended up skipping quite a lot of it. And for me personally, it's been a little bit of a race against time to progress in game, making guides, making content, while also keeping up with all my Zelda Zone Zero stuff. So I thought story-wise, I'll catch up later. So from my perspective, I actually didn't even know that, there was any problems with the story. And reading and taking part of everything that was said during the live stream, you'd think that they just had a disaster launch and nobody liked the game. I'm having such a fucking bop with Chaos Zero Nightmare. I think the game is fantastic. Although now I'm mostly talking of a character and gameplay purpose. Maybe the story needs a full revamp. I don't know. It is a little bit weird to, release a game and then within the first week announce that you are going to be reworking the entire, main story leading up to the point that we have at the moment. Hopefully they'll do it great. So, do I think that Chaos Zero Nightmare is in trouble? I wouldn't say so. Their big, strong selling point, there's no fault to, which is the gameplay loop, the characters, the deck building, like it is addicting as all shit. That is what the vast majority of people will stay and play the game for. So for the people that might have found the story lacking, maybe this, reassures you that it's gonna get better moving forward. But we would much rather have it like this, where the story might be lacking and they need to refine that, but the general gameplay loop is good, addictive and fun. Because the story, you do it once, then you're done with it. The gameplay loop you do every day, and that needs to be fun and engaging, otherwise you won't keep up with it. And as I've talked about in other videos, the gameplay in this is absolutely phenomenal, and it is up there in the quality of Slay the Spire, Darkest Dungeon. Now it also addresses a lot of instability and stuff service-wise. I haven't genuinely noticed any problems at all. I've been playing it both on phone and on PC. Haven't had a single issue technically, I think. I'm not saying that other people haven't. I'm saying I have not seen any of it. To me, it looked like a pretty good, polished launch, and I haven't had any massive problems. So overall, what do I think of the live stream? I like the tone of it, that he as the big shot takes, responsibility for the shortcomings that have happened. Realize that he shouldn't be meddling in stuff that he has hired specialists to actually do. So, acknowledging that you have a problem is the first step to solving that problem. And now, some of the places where they said that they were going to be taking the story, we as the commander are going to be more of an important figure. Honestly, in a lot of these games or animes or whatever, I almost feel like the main character is almost always the most boring part. So I don't mind being an observer and letting, the actual cool characters do their thing, rather than us, an unvoiced, unnamed character, to, be the messiah. And me personally, I don't mind the characters, having relationships with each other. That's not part of me. I don't need, all of the characters to want to bang me specifically. That's never been, an appeal, this harem kind of fantasy that it appeals to. I'd almost rather that wasn't a thing. But I don't know, maybe some of the, oh, it's my wife people, take real offense to their wife maybe hitting it up with someone else. But yeah, overall, I think it's a good thing to acknowledge, and the things that they're trying to fix is not something I have a problem with necessarily anyway, because I'm more interested in the gameplay, and the gameplay is fucking superb. Regarding the ideology statement and it sounds like they're accused of pushing feminism, and I'm like, have you seen the characters? I don't think it's an issue. What do I know? Maybe it's embedded in the story and I just haven't come across it. But yeah. Basically, you can tell that this wasn't necessarily made by Western developers, just with how, the characters look. So, I don't know what that is about. They reassured us that there's nothing like that going around, and the only thing they care about is player happiness, which is what games should be about. I think if more devs just had the focus of we want our players to have fun and be happy while playing our game, we'd have in general better games, rather than what ideological lectures can we bake into this story and serve it as a poop sandwich to our players. That's just me. Alright peeps, let me know your comments down below. What do you think of this entire thing? Also, like I said, this is me reading and translating the transcript, trying to verify it to make sure that everything is accurate, but I might have gotten certain things wrong. I hope I haven't, but there's always a possibility, and there might be needs for corrections, and if there is, I'll slap it down in the comments. Everybody, if you're in Chaos Zero Nightmare, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Maybe pop on into the Discord. We have a Chaos Zero section. Now, this is kind of become my main game together with Zenless Zone Zero on what I'm covering on the channel. So, as always, thank you so much for watching. Have a big hug. Until next time, Hako out.